Hi guys, it's Ranj, your friendly bearded plumber from Amsterdam. Back with another little short video. This time it's a little review on a vacuum that I've had for a little while. It is the lovely DeWalt DCV584L, I believe. If I just pull this down here. Yeah, there you go. So it's a DCV584L. There are two versions to this wet vac from DeWalt currently in the market. So this one, like I've said, is a DCV584L, and then there's also a DCV580. The main two differences between the two models is that my version, the 584, has a cable. So obviously I'm here in Europe, so therefore it's got the European plug. It comes with a 2-meter cable to plug into your mains, as well as it can work on your 18-volt batteries. This is a 4-amp-hour battery that I have here, and I also have a 5-amp-hour as well. To be honest with you, I've not even used the 5-amp-hour battery on the vacuum because I only really just use it just to suck up water when I'm carrying out a repair or a service on a boiler. So the reason why I went for the one with the cable, even though it's slightly more dearer, is just the fact that I like to have mains power as well as battery backup should I need it. When I'm on a job and there's a socket nearby, I will 99% of the time plug it in, just because in case the battery fails or dies or depletes whilst I'm using it and I've still got water flowing, I don't want to be causing a shit show on my job. Therefore I will plug it in, but it's always nice to have a battery as backup. The reason why I went for the DeWalt WetVac, even though there's the Milwaukee one that I've seen that outperforms this in suction power, the only reason why I went for the DeWalt is because I already have DeWalt batteries. It's pretty much the same as when you upgrade your camera bodies. Depending on what lenses you have already invested in, like Canon or Nikon, you will therefore usually just buy the new body to take your existing lenses. So I have a good few DeWalt tools that run the 18-volt battery set. And because of that reason, I went for the DeWalt vacuum. I didn't want to buy a different brand of tools or a different brand of vacuum just for one battery then that I'd have to keep charging, or a separate charger for it. Hence why I went for the DeWalt. So although the DeWalt in power when it comes to suction isn't as powerful as the Milwaukee, from what I've done when I did my research, that's what I found. I don't see any problem with this vacuum itself. It does exactly what I need it to do. It comes with, so on the side here, you've got this attachment, and the hose pipe is 1.5 meters long when it's fully pulled out, and that just goes onto there. And obviously you can vacuum water spillages or even dust and debris and dirt using this. So what I normally do is when I'm changing a radiator or changing a radiator valve, I'll just use this foot to give me a bit more surface area, and I'll just position it like so upwards so that water goes into the spout, funnel, whatever you want to call it. It gives a better chance of catching the water rather than spilling everywhere. Clips on the side there. And also inside the handle is a crevice cleaner, snout, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. As you can see, mine isn't clean because I use it. I use my tools. My tools are not there to just feel proud of. It's not like a pride possession. It's just my tools do get used, and I wanted to only do this review after using it and putting it through a test. And I feel now I'm comfortable enough to give enough information to you guys if you're out in the market for a new wet vac. So that goes obviously on there as well. I use this a lot more than the big head or foot, whatever you want to call it. just because this gets into all the tight locations inside. Like for example, the other day I repaired a intergas boiler which had a leaking flow switch, and the whole base of the boiler, like about a good 3 inches high, was full of water. So I put the crevice spout on and sucked all the water up. This is like my go-to attachment, and it's got a nice storage space on the inside the handle. The nice thing about this vacuum is that this way, if I show you, let's rest it like so, yeah. So here it's for sucking in. So basically it's got this little lever here. You twist it up and you're able to pull it out. There you go. So it pulls out comes the hose pipe, like so. And this hole here is for blowing. It's got a little indentation. So there you go, specific way it has to go in. So you push it in like so, and you twist it and it locks in position, and now it becomes a blower. So back out there, I very rarely use it as a blower. The only thing it took me a little while to understand was that when you push this in like so, you'd expect, well, I expected this to go upwards just because it felt a bit more comfortable to the hand, but no, it actually wants to push downwards like so. You heard the click and now it's locked in position. I think the first couple of days I was like, what the hell is going on here? And that's what it is, you got to push it downwards. The hose pipe wraps around the battery chamber like so, and then back this way, and it's got a catch that goes there. Also, this attachment can come off, and I believe it's because you can then get adapters to attach it to your circular saws, your electric planers, and for that reason I think you can get attachments for it. Obviously I don't need it, so I don't use it. I've just screwed it back on. It is anti-clockwise thread on this, so you know how normally things you know right is tight, you twist it to the right to always tighten things. On this hose pipe it's to the left. It's got these two butterfly kind of hinge locks on the sides. You undo them and off comes the motor from the storage compartment. This actual container here has a capacity of 7.5 liters of water or dust. Obviously you can't do both because they'll just become muddy and, you know, thick and sludgy, and then obviously you're going to mess up the motor. So I would advise using this wet vac either for wet or for dry, and not together at the same time. You've probably noticed I've undone my vacuum and there's no filter fitted here. So as part of the sale, when you purchase your vacuum, this filter comes with it. I don't know if it's a HEPA filter, but anyway, this is the filter that comes with the vacuum to twist on and off the motor. What I've noticed, so this is why I wanted to put it through its paces so that I knew what I could advise you of what I do and how I do it. They say in the book, do not, like a big disclaimer, use this vacuum without the filter. On both wet and dry, it will mess the motor up, or you know, the suction motor here-ish, that's thing here. What I've noticed is when you use this vacuum as a wet or a dry, so say for example you've used it wet first, you've then gone and spilled the water out of this container, and you come back and you then start vacuuming your dry rubbish, this filter really gets clogged up quick because it's wet on the outside, then the dust sticks to it. And I then noticed that the power of suction really drops. When I mean really drops, I swear sometimes I probably think I could probably suck the water with my mouth better than the vacuum. No pun intended, you know, I'm just saying the loss of suction when this gets wet and clogged up with debris, it is a massive difference. You'll see it and notice, and you'll think to yourself, oh, my vacuum's not working, there's something wrong with the vacuum. But when you take the filter off, you're like, oh shit, no wonder, okay. I don't know what material it's made of. It's like a plasticky material. And what I've then gone and done at my own risk, because I like to, you know, well, I'm not made of money, but I just like to, if I'm going to do a review, I want to make sure I've put it through its paces, and if it gets fucked up, and if it messes up, it messes up. But you know, at least I know, I'm the kind of guy that I like to learn from my mistakes, and if I can advise someone else to not make my mistakes, you know, it's fine. I would rather help people out this way. So what I noticed was that when you have the filter removed, this vacuum can actually be used completely and safely as a wet vac. There's a diaphragm, so under this ball, if I can move it out the way, there's still a filter diaphragm inside here. So yeah, this bit, I don't know if it comes off or not. It wobbles a little, but I don't want to pull it off. But there is another filter just inside there, and I've used it like so, clipped in like so. Actually, whilst I'm editing the video, I've just come to realize that that ball most likely acts like a float. So as the water volume builds up inside the vacuum cleaner, the ball, I'm assuming, blocks that diaphragm from damaging the motor. That's possibly why the ball is in there, and that's the purpose of it. That is how I've used it on a daily basis for about 2 weeks now. I've had the vacuum for a good couple of months, but in the last 2 weeks, when I noticed that my suction was really low, I took this off, I washed it. This is clean. This is how it looks when it's clean. So I washed it, I let it dry for a good few days, and I was considering to buy a new one of these filters. This filter, it says it's DCV584H. So yeah, I considered buying another filter, thinking, okay, you know what, when this is wet, I'll put another one on and then clean this one, put it back on, and vice versa, you know. But I was like, it'll still get wet, it'll still get dirty, and it's just going to keep on, the cycle's going to keep on going, that I want to think that the vacuum isn't working. So therefore, I was like, to hell with that. Let's just use it as a wet vac only. Yeah. As a wet vac, this is fantastic. I can't fault it. So far, there hasn't been a job where this has not performed. If you want to hear how loud it is, so that's how loud it is. On the technical specs, it says it's about 87 dB. So in comparison, this is double in loudness compared to a Valent Ecotech, because Valent Ecotech are at 45 dB when they're running at maximum rate. So, you know, I'm just giving an example where I've seen these numbers. But to be honest, it's a vacuum cleaner. It's not meant to work silently, and it's a vacuum for work. So obviously when you're working, noise is to be made, sounds will be made. So I'm not too bothered about what dB it makes. I wanted to just make sure that it was powerful enough for me to do my work. Yeah, it's about 200 to 220 pounds, euros, depending on where you're looking. I was going to buy mine from Amazon here in the Netherlands, but it was a good couple of weeks waiting list. Or waiting time for delivery, whereas a website called climb.nl, or Kilium, K-L-I-U-M, Kilium, yeah, anyway, whatever. I'll put the link on the screen now. They were like literally next day. So I think I ordered it on a Friday and it was here delivered Monday or Tuesday, whatever. But yeah, it was delivered in time. It does come without a battery, so that's something you gotta remember. If you want, even if you bought the battery version, the DCV580, that also comes without a battery. These batteries run around about, I think about 100 quid. And that's again why I didn't buy a Milwaukee or another branded vacuum like a Makita, just because I didn't want to end up buying more batteries or a charger. So therefore I purchased the DeWalt again. I must just say why I purchased DeWalt. The DCV580 and this one is similar price. This is a bit more dearer because it's got the cable. And yeah, like I said, after using it for a good few weeks, like before I've had this wet vac, I've got the mini DeWalt as well. I'll do another video of that one very soon. And I also have a Ian Hall wet vac which is mains powered, no battery powered. That's like got a 20-litre tank capacity. That's a big vacuum, and it's too big to carry in my little caddy on a daily basis. So I wanted something that I could, you know, fit in my back of my caddy and not take up space. This just fits perfect. You can see how big it is. If I lie it down like so, I put my hands, there you go. My hands cover almost the whole vacuum. So it's not a massive machine, and it's not heavy either. The battery makes it heavy. Obviously, you know what batteries weigh. This probably weighs, I think, 500 grams itself. So that's really not heavy at all. And again, just because of the work that I do as a service and a repair engineer, I needed something that was light and robust. I love the bottom tank. That really is cool. It's got 7.5 litres capacity. I've never come to a stage where I've filled it up. I will want to see what happens when it fills up. That's something I will test in the near future. But yeah, again, this is just another layman's version of a review. Nothing technical. I'm just letting you know that I'm impressed with this vacuum. You're not going to go wrong if you went for this. If you've got DeWalt batteries, it's a no-brainer. Just go for this. You're not going to go wrong. If I could make one massive improvement to this vacuum, it would be that if it's got the cable, why can it not be a battery charger as well? It would be so amazing that you could get to a job, plug it in, and it charges your battery whilst it's not in use. That for me would be the biggest upgrade in the next version of vacuum. If DeWalt do take out a new one of these and it has a battery charging facility, I most likely will buy the next one, just because I have a DeWalt SDS and a DeWalt which I use on all my jobs should I need an SDS, which is also 18 volts. And if the battery's running low on it, I could swap the batteries out, let them charge, you know, rather than having an extra charger on site. So that would be the only upgrade I would really want in something in this sort of a package. And also, as I mentioned, that this is a wet vac. You can use it wet and dry. I personally only use it as a wet vac. So if I'm going to do a bit of dry vacuuming, like where can I do it? For example, if it's dry vacuum that I need to do, I would either get my little DeWalt vacuum out, or most likely the customer will be like, you know, just use mine, it's fine. So I'll just use the customer's vacuum. Again, I don't go around making mess in a house because I'm not an installer. I only do service and repair, and there's a bit of dust, like say for example when you've cleaned out the horrendous intergas heat exchangers and debris fall on the floor, they'll be like, yo, just use our vacuum. Or for that sort of debris, I will even just use my own vacuum, this one here, with the foot, and just vacuum it up, even if the filter's not in, because, you know, it's not like I'm vacuuming, again, like I said, wood shavings, when you've cut wood or planed wood, that I probably wouldn't want to do when it's wet and dry. So yeah, that's something I can advise, is use your machine as a wet or a dry vacuum at a given time. It's like using your thermal food bags, you know, the ones that you can put hot food in or cold food in, but not both at the same time, because it just messes the bag up. That's the same with what I've experienced with a wet vac, that this filter just gets caked up within no time, and then it loses suction completely. I mean, yeah, if there's any questions you want me to answer about it, please leave them down below in the comments. If you want to buy the vacuum, there's a link also in the description below and on my Amazon shop front. Please kindly, you know, as usual, if you're interested in this and you found my video useful, please give it a thumbs up, please share, like, subscribe, the usual. And if you're interested in the vacuum, you know, just click on the link in my shop front. Won't cost you any more than it would cost you if you went direct to Amazon or to another website. But if you're planning on buying on Amazon, just click my link. It'll help me out a little bit, and you know, every little helps. But yeah, if you're going to buy one, just click on the link, and like I said, it's not going to cost you a single penny more than it would if you didn't click the link. And yeah, that's really all I can say about this vacuum. Once again, if you've got DeWalt batteries, get yourself a DeWalt. If you've got Milwaukee, obviously then go for the Milwaukee, because the Milwaukee, from what I've seen, has a bit more suction power than this vacuum, but the battery runs out in double the speed that this does. So that's what you got to just remember, that this, I've actually had it on a full charge, and I've been able to use this vacuum, I believe, for a good hour of vacuuming water, that is, for an hour before the battery went dead. And I think the Milwaukee's half the time. I think you only get about 30 minutes. Don't quote me on the Milwaukee stuff, because I haven't got a Milwaukee one to test, but I know that this one's giving me an hour of continuous, well, not when I mean continuous, but yeah, without charging the battery and without plugging it in, I've got an hour out of this. And yeah, it really is cool. I do highly recommend this machine. If you're in the market for one, you know what to get. And on that note, guys, live long and prosper, and I will see you in the next one. Over and out.